Shanghai, a gigantic city, a meeting point of both East and West. The shoreline is without a doubt the city's main focal point. It's a combination of the past, the present, and the future. It contains the historic monuments and eye-catching buildings of a great city. Shanghai was once referred to as the whore of Asia, capital of crime, the Paris of the East, and the center of Maoism. But this is a place of history. Today, the gigantic metropolis is ruled by modern-thinking communists, and the Yangtze Delta is not only China's largest port, but also its shining star of capitalism. In the 18th century, the West showed considerable interest in Shanghai as an important trading center. But China was uncooperative. However, following the Opium Wars, in 1842, the British moved in and forced a concession from the Chinese. 5 years later, the French followed. Foreign capital was introduced, factories were built, and many people moved into the city in the search for work. The shipbuilding industry immediately took off, and almost overnight, Shanghai became the most modern city in Asia, and also a paragon of Western decadence. The Bund had an array of new buildings, many of which contained the branch offices of several well-established Oriental companies. The investment was enormous. Today, the city's skyline acts as a powerful magnet for tourism. The founders of the Democratic Republic have long since been replaced along with Mao's Little Red Book. Junks, steamships, and all manner of marine transport kept Shanghai's thousands of warehouses busy both day and night. Nothing has changed, except that the ships are bigger. It's hard to imagine that only a century ago, Shanghai's riverbanks consisted of a marshland where rocks and earth were used to secure the country's junks. Inaugurated in 1994, the Nanpu Bridge is an architectural masterpiece. It spans 600 meters and has a length of 1,800. From here, there's a wonderful view both of river and harbor. 55,000-ton ships pass beneath this highly impressive structure. Of particular note is this 4-kilometer-long spiral slip road. It was designed to overcome restrictions of space. Rapidly increasing road traffic has made this bridge between Old Shanghai and the new city districts essential, because the Yangpu Bridge in the north of the city was unable to cope. Of steel rope construction, the bridge can also be crossed by foot. But the sole means of access to the bridge, which cost more than 4.6 billion yuan, is by elevator. Although much was lost to the Cultural Revolution, the city's panoramic skyline is now a contemporary tribute to China's new regime. The Oriental Pearl Tower is a mighty 468-meter-high television tower that since 1995 has extended high above the city's skyline. The view is overwhelming. A wide river calmly winds its way through this lively city that in recent times has experienced a complete transformation. Each year, millions flock here to visit this fascinating building. The record so far is an incredible 18,000 visitors in a single day. Endearingly named the Oriental Pearl, the tower contains an entertainment center, futuristic luxury hotel, fine restaurant, and the most superb views. The most recently built city quarter of Pudong is often referred to as Boomtown. This is a new but as yet undefined world, a city of the future. Modern glass structures designed by the world's leading architects surround New Age Boulevard, a fine example of the city's dynamic flair. Modern skyscrapers dominate the skyline and overshadow the city's few surviving brick-built buildings. In Shanghai, this is where the power of money is fully exposed. The metropolis is developed at a rapid pace and with a high degree of urgency. No other city in the world has changed so much in so short a time. None of the old town has survived, and the word Chinatown is now politically incorrect. With its entrance on the Lishui Lu, this district is called Southern Market. Here until 1912, there was a city wall and numerous ditches. The houses were renovated in the traditional way and partly reconstructed. In the center of the city's labyrinth-like shopping alleys, a zigzag bridge extends across a small pond to a famous tea house. The bridge was designed so in order to fend off evil spirits who, it is believed, can walk only in a straight line. The picturesque tea house is surprisingly uncrowded due to the hustle and bustle on the bridge. But it's a great opportunity to enjoy a cup of leaf tea in such a nostalgic atmosphere. Directly opposite is the entrance to Yuyuan. This garden is the pride of the city because it's one of the few remaining cultural monuments in Shanghai. Gardens have always symbolized great wealth and power in China. Those in high office have attempted to replicate the garden designs of the emperor. In a small area, the Yew Garden combines all those elements that comprise a successful garden, in 5 sections, divided by dragon walls. The garden has been destroyed on many occasions, but was always eventually rebuilt, even more beautifully than before. Nanjinglu is the new center of Shanghai, China's sparkling showcase that contains both old and modern shopping centers, the commercial heart of the city. Each day, more than 1 million people walk through the luxurious shopping streets to admire the expensive symbols of capitalism, and with an increasing number of people actually being able to buy them. A few years ago, the People's Square contained wide streets and a racecourse. Today, it's a green area with fountains and white doves. This was once the center of this huge city. And for wedding couples, a photo opportunity in front of this large fountain is an absolute must. The large square is surrounded by a number of amazing avant-garde buildings. At the center of the People's Square is the splendid Shanghai Museum, whose external walls are covered with Spanish marble and protected by various stone lions. A visit to the city can also give a good insight into the roots of communist ideology, and also modern office buildings and intriguing old districts. In this insignificant-looking house in the city's former French district, in 1921, the plans for the founding of the Chinese Communist Party were laid, attended by Mao Zedong. Shanghai was the ideal location to light the flames of revolution. Visits to the museum are part of the city's school curriculum. China's early history, covered by a marvelous range of exhibits. Next, the countryside and the capital of the former Wu Kingdom. Suzhou. Famous explorer Marco Polo referred to this extraordinary city as the Venice of the East. The city is particularly famous for its gardens. These humble dwellings signify the poverty of the local people. In contrast, there are also some extremely elegant buildings that are remnants of a glorious past. The city was founded in 514 BC, when the Chinese monarch Helü von Wu made it his capital. As the city developed, splendid residences were built and wealthy mandarins began to settle here. Above a broad 24-kilometre-long wall is a path with many interesting sights along the way, and a picturesque view over the city's watery streets. But Suzhou is above all famous for its gardens. The Garden of the Policy of the Common People is one of China's 4 most famous gardens. The complex was built in 1522 and 1566 at the command of an important mandarin and designed according to his wishes. The area is divided into 3 large sections: a visitor centre, a large central garden complex, and a further garden. This was the idyllic setting for a series of paintings by the Ming artist Wen Zhengming. Covering a much smaller area is the Garden of the Master of the Nets, that despite its smaller dimensions is considered to be a gem of garden architecture. The origins of the garden are in the 12th century. It's believed that a vice defense minister of the period had this residence built for his retirement. Eventually, the garden became neglected, and it was not until the 18th century that it was fully restored and its buildings re-inhabited by the nobility. The Wang Shi Yuan, otherwise known as the Garden of the Master of the Nets, is a combination of both residential and garden area. The beautiful Suzhou complexes seem to emulate an even more famous garden, the Garden of Eden. These historic Chinese gardens exude a sense of harmony and serenity. South of Suzhou is Zhujiang, that is said to have been the first water village in China. A journey on its canals is certainly worthwhile. The surrounding area is covered with thousands of canals and rivers, and many villages in waterland are only accessible by boat. It really is the perfect village setting. Little has changed here since bygone times. This is ancient China today. Natural village life and picturesque scenery. The journey by rowing boat on the fascinating canals is a good way to see the sights. But sometimes even the waterway has become quite busy. The alleys are too narrow for motor vehicles. The grey roof buildings have been transformed into souvenir shops and small restaurants. This settlement is 900 years old and has survived many devastating wars. Most of the houses date back to the Ming and Qing eras. Because Zhuzhuang was once accessible only by water, many of its houses have small landing stages on the canal banks. They facilitated the movement of goods. It's surprising that this wonderful medieval village has only relatively recently been discovered by tourism. Everyone enjoys a stroll along the colourful cobblestone alleys among the village's well-preserved buildings. The Kanfu Temple is located on the outermost edge of the village, protected by a wall and a dam towards an open lake. The large temple complex with its natural water garden was built during the Song dynasty and is dedicated to Buddha. Restoration of the temple complex was extremely successful, as well as the preservation of a natural water basin that was once part of the lake. All four temple buildings were built at an equal distance from each other, and, in common with most Buddhist temples, on an axis from east to west. Returning to Shanghai, the sight of the illuminated city soon reawakens the mystique of the East once again, of adventure, the exotic and forbidden fruits. Each evening, several of the city's theaters feature an acrobatic show, a particularly popular attraction in China. Some of the finest acrobats in the world are schooled here, and several of them eventually pursue their career around the world in many a Chinese circus. There's so much to see and do, the time soon slips by. The dexterity of the acrobats is truly mesmerizing. Shanghai has now freed itself from its early growing pains and from the restrictions imposed by Chairman Mao, and today enjoys the rich rewards of capitalism. Shanghai is the vivacious pulse of China, but the gigantic city of today is only the beginning. The city of the future awaits.